Right, start recording now. Right. Hi, Lee Ashby here from BSMA Motocross Memories. I'm here with former 500cc World Motocross Champion, Kiwi legend, Shayne King. How you doing, Shayne?
Yeah, Lee, good, mate. We're sitting here on the other side of the globe, just waiting for some sun to come back around. We're in the winter days here in New Zealand, so yeah, it's sitting in the office, looking outside. Looks like a great English day.
We're having good weather here at the moment, so it's a bit unusual for us.
Yeah.
Right then, let's get going then. Here we go. First question was, what was your favourite track as a schoolboy, and then your pro career as well, and why?
As a schoolboy, I'd have to say it would be Woodville, New Zealand, which is a New Zealand Grand Prix circuit. It's based in about the sort of centre part of, or just below the centre part of the North Island, close to Palmerston North. And just a great track. It was challenging. It got super rough. A lot of deep ruts here in New Zealand. We don't have a lot of rocks here, so we're blessed with that. We're blessed with some amazing soil, and just a good races track. You could pass. You could use alternate lines. It taught you a lot of lessons, and it taught me a lot of lessons over the years. And just a great track to ride on. And the club that runs the event is just an amazing club. They're just so enthusiastic. So as a schoolboy, and even up to today, my kids now, they love racing at that place. And then it'd have to be, I would say, probably Asti in Italy would be my favourite track. Well, I think the main reason, or one of the main reasons, was that I obviously won the first two Grand Prix in '96 there by a decent margin of both motos, so which is a surprise. But the track was just amazing, up and down all those hills, up and over those cool tabletops, and the soil was sort of like New Zealand as well, so it got super rough. Yeah. So I mean, Asti, I think it's a lot of riders' favourite track around the world. So I know Ryan Hughes is one of his favourites as well. So it was really cool to go and race on that circuit.
So I had some good memories there, winning as well. Next one, what riders did you look up to and idolise when you were young, and why?
When I was young, Daryl and myself, we were in the same room in the house, and we used to, obviously back in the day it was the MCN magazine, the Motorcycle News newspaper. We used to get that delivered. Yeah. But yeah, just riders like Rick, I'm obviously American, Rick Johnson, Dave Thorpe, Danny Magoo Chandler. Just that era that was, David Bailey, of course. Just that era was such an amazing era for motocross, and to grow up as a kid to have that many of those amazing, talented riders at that age. We're 10 years old. Was pretty cool, to just go and just be able to see them on TV or read about them was amazing.
Yeah, I agree with them. Who were your closest rivals in your pro racing days, and who did you enjoy racing with the most, and why?
Well, in the 90s, we was the era of Stefan Everts, the king of European World Championship. I actually just loved racing everybody. The fierce battle I had with Joel Smets in '96 was cool. Racing my brother was always cool. To be battling with your own brother, and on the other side of the world. Racing in America as well, the Supercross in 2000. That was amazing, racing with McGrath and Carmichael, all those guys, and then outdoor nationals as well with Greg Albertine was there, Tortelli. I raced with them in Europe, but also got a chance to race with them in America. So just a lot of, the 90s there was so many hot, talented riders that could race on both continents and be super competitive. And that was our era, and there's a completely different era now, as you know. So
it was an amazing era, that's for sure. Yeah. Next one, what was your favourite race bike stroke team that you rode for during your career, and why?
It was the KTM factory when I raced for them. Signed an agreement with them in '95 through to 2001 before I left Europe, and that was the KTM 360 for me was like a weapon, because it was just so much horsepower, so rideable. We had to be so strong to ride it against those big 600 plus C4 strokes. So that 360 was nimble. It was just an amazing bike, and obviously KTM in that era there were just I'd taken their baby steps at the time. So to be able to to win them their first 500 World Championship, let alone ride the two-stroke. The last era of two-strokes was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. That was. I remember watching all that. What was your favourite race number, and was there any reason for having or wanting it, and how did you come about, even as a youngster?
I started with a number that I mean, we were 132, 133, 134, 131, 132, 134, 34. That was my other three brothers. So there's four of us. I went to 34. And then for some reason, I had this dream of imagine winning a world championship with a number 9. And I think I had that dream about 93, 94 when I first was in Europe. And I ended up somehow getting number 9 for the world championship year.
Yeah.
And broke my foot and had all these major things going on, and it just somehow ended up with number 9. And my birthday's the 9th of the 9th, 1970. So 9th was my birthday was September 9. The last Grand Prix of the year in Geldof was on September 8th. So I mean, midnight that night obviously was my 26th birthday. So when I had that dream, I also wrote down on a piece of paper with my dad. He signed it when I was 16 years old that I want to be a world champion at 25. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So at 25, by a few hours, I achieved my ultimate dream at 16 that I wrote. I still got that piece of paper today.
That's awesome. That's brilliant.
So dreams, dream big.
That's really cool, isn't it?
Dreams come true because they do if you work at it.
Because you actually ran the number one, didn't you, when you won the world title? You ran the number 1 the following season?
Yeah, so 97 was number 1.
97, yeah. What did that feel like?
I guess the highs of just being a world champion, your ultimate dream's been achieved. And, I remember going to the Motocross the Nations a week later in Spain. And, man, I never used to drink, but I tell you what, after that world championship party we had, I don't think I drank again for a few years, but I just, I was just so tired and sick, and the whole year just come down on me for that Motocross Nations. But the number one was amazing to use, but just the pressure of all of the first Grand Prix, and your biggest dream in your whole life has been achieved that year. So to set another dream, and I made the fatal mistake of having a money dream and a money goal. Sorry, so that was the wrong. After a few Grand Prix, I put pressure on myself because I knew that I wanted to win. To win, I had to get the bonuses, and you sort of had this dream of owning these big houses and this big motorhome, and having a $1 trillion bank and all these things. Just number 1 was pressure, but I think I put a lot of pressure on myself. And they always say that the first one's easy, the second one's hardest, and I never achieved the second one for whatever reason. But mate, I'm not, I'm still more than happy in my life.
So you actually did literally feel the pressure of the number 1 on that. Yeah,
you feel the pressure because everyone's eyes are on you. The first Grand Prix that year was Lommel. You know what I mean? So Lommel in March. And everyone that knows Lommel in March is right.
So, heavy going,
yeah, you had a bit of a challenge there, but pressure. Like anything, there's pressure. Every weekend you race, or every sports person has pressure. So it's how you handle that pressure. And that year I didn't handle it for the first 3 or 4 Grand Prix, and then after that I started winning races again, but it was already too late.
Playing catch up, yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Right. What track or venue did you not like racing at, and why?
This one here is I actually enjoyed everything in motocross. I love the challenge of actually trying to get my bike working on every certain track. I suppose Luxembourg was one track that I never really liked. It's very, very hard base. It's always super hot, and I had a couple of big crashes there when I first got to Europe at that same circuit in Grand Prix. So I think that's the one. I liked it, but it wasn't my favourite. But as a motocross racer, you learn to ride around all your negatives, and you go there and you go there to finish third rather than go there to win, and that's what I always done.
Make the best of a bad thing. Okay, what was your favourite racing gear that you wore during your career, and why?
I still get stick today about using Wolf Sport, which Bill Brown was so great to be able to support me with that when I was coming into Europe. I'd have to say that era with Wolf Sport was a very cool era for me because we had great people around us with Bill and the team at Wolf Sport, and that it wasn't the coolest gear in the world that everyone looked at and thought it was American, but we made a pretty big statement with Wolf in that era. Array helmets, and that was cool. They've been a part of our life, our family's life since I think it was 86, 85, 86 from Japan. So we use some. That era now you look back at it and go, damn, I wish I kept all that stuff I've got here, but. I'd say it was also pretty cool back in the day to wear that Rick Johnson half red, half blue set with a V2000 and the Alpine Stars Tech 6 boots and lots of different things. I think Axo was pretty cool. That Damon Bradshaw replica stuff that I used to use back in the late 80s. So man, there was some cool gear back then, and today it's just it's mind blowing how the gear market is.
So much of it, isn't there? Did you have any superstitions or anything you had to do, particularly on race days, or things that you had to have a certain way? Or
Yep, one superstition was my rocket blues, and so they were a set of blue underwear that I won in Ashby, and that just continued right through the year that I had to have those rocket blues on. Every time I used them, I won a moto. But obviously they didn't they didn't last that long.
I was about to say, do they wear out?
So I had some very holy undies, and I remember being in Belgium and at the Grand Prix there at Namur, and I won Namur, and I remember being on the back of a mule getting taken back up to the pits, and I just got everything ripped off me from the crowd, and all I had was these rocket blues on that were just holy, and it was just like God. It was just one of those things. Everyone was like, "What are you doing? Can't you afford new underwear?" So, my wife actually a few years back, she actually framed them and put them in a frame. She said, "Oh, you need to hang these in your office." So I was
that's very cool. That's cool.
So I didn't hang them in my office, but they're sitting down there in a frame. So, but hard case.
That's cool. Where did you race as a schoolboy racer, and the details of back then?
I raced in New Zealand a lot. Obviously grew up here. We got an amazing country. Right down in this COVID-19 scenario right now. We're a country of zero. We're locked in here in this little island at the bottom of the world. And I'm blessed to be in this great country that we live in. And it just we don't have the deep sand tracks like they have in Belgium or in Japan, Holland, but we have some amazing circuits. We have within my area hour. We have around 30 tracks that we can ride.
Yeah.
You can go sand, you can go, amazing deep ruts. You can, we just got to, I guess, a way to build your talent up in a lot of different circuits in a close proximity. So New Zealand for us was a great breeding ground. Then traveled to Australia quite a bit, racing over there. Then we actually did a lot of races in Tahiti and Hawaii. So we traveled there quite a bit. There's a Supercross, John DeSoto ran a Supercross over there where they, Rick Johnson and Guy Cooper and Larry Ward and all those guys come to every year. It was just a great fun race, and that's where I kind of met Rick Johnson for the first time. And today I can call him a friend. So it's pretty cool.
That is very cool. Do you still ride now at all? And if you do, what bikes do you currently have and ride?
Yeah, I still ride. I love riding. The only thing I can't do is when I go to a race and I want to do a race. I got 2 kids, 2 boys, and they love to race, and it just doesn't feel right for me being there. I had my time, so it's their time. But we have a lot of trail rides here, a lot of amazing trail rides. We're actually going on one this weekend, and just go and do trail rides and just hang out with the industry that bought me so much, and I'm in now with what I do, and I love riding dirt bikes. So riding KTM 450 SX, just an incredible bike, straight out of the box, hop on it and go. Obviously, it's not straight out of the box. I've got a few things on it, but KTM, to this day, still support me. I'm part of their family, I guess. I'm on their mantelpiece in Manninghofen, and it's kind of cool to be riding still riding a 450, but pull the old girl out every now and again, the old 96, and give her a spruce up and take her for a ride and scare the living daylights out of myself. And
that's brilliant. When did you actually finish competitive racing, and why?
I finished in 2007. I just felt that it was my time. I finished it actually here in my hometown at the National Championship. And it was, I just felt that it was time to stop. Obviously my business, Crown Kiwi Enterprises here in New Zealand, we distribute some of the fastest brands in the world with Alpine Stars and Bell and 100% and Akropovich, to name a few. And just needed to take the next step in life. And fortunately for me, I started my company in '98 before I finished racing. So I set myself up because my dad told me to make sure I set myself up.
Yeah.
And I did. And, just dealing with the same people now that I used to deal with, and you still go to the races and you see the same family that I raced with over there. And just now I'm on the other side of the fence. Now I give them money, not them paying me. So but I love what I do. I love it.
So that's good then. That's good. That was wise then to do sort all that out. What other sports do you actually enjoy doing or watching?
My favourite sport since I was a young kid is Formula One. So, I try to every year. I try to travel to somewhere in the world with Larry Glover, who is a part of O'Neill motocross clothing, motocross product in England. Larry's a good friend for many years, and we always try and find 1 or 2 races every year. We go to Europe and do that. And I love watching the All Blacks. I love watching the All Blacks. I'm not a rugby guy, but I love watching the All Blacks and our nation, fighting England and South Africa in the World Cup.
Love the haka. Love the haka.
The haka. Yeah, I think that's going to change. We're going to have to do something different because now it's not intimidating anymore. So
everyone actually loves it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's our culture. But yeah, I just like I like a lot of sports. Just car racing's a big thing. Anything on wheels, Motor Grand Prix, Supercross, obviously that's a big one that's going to happen today again. So, I just love it all. I can sit and watch tennis if it's a good game between a couple of, heroes. And golf, I love to watch golf every now and again, a good game. But just enjoy sports. It's in the blood.
That's cool. What was your most memorable race or meeting that you've enjoyed the most, and why does it still stick in your memory even today?
Unadilla 1986, Motocross of Nations. And the reason why it sticks still in my brain is because we went there as a little country. It was my first Motocross of Nations. My brother Daryl, we went to Unadilla and raced in the mud. And Bob Hurricane Hanna, I remember them saying in the riders' briefing in the morning, they said, if you turn around on the track, you're going to get disqualified, and no matter who you are, you're going to get disqualified. First moto, Bob Hanna goes up the top of Screw You, got stuck, turn around and come back down the hill. And after that race, I remember the steward saying, it's okay to turn around, but be safe. So
change the rule,
yeah. So but Unadilla 86, it was an amazing race for me. My first Motocross of Nations at a 125, and just something different. That track's amazing. The crowd was incredible, and just great memory.
Brilliant. Who were your best mates during your racing career, and do you still keep in contact with them?
The whole paddock, really. I'm a people person, and I just enjoyed. Enjoyed the camaraderie of what the industry or what the sport brought, and still brings today. I just enjoyed hanging with people and positive energy, and I just love that stuff. So I wouldn't say I had best friends, but I have many people that are just great friends, and they're still great friends today. So a lot of great teammates as well throughout the years, and whether it be America, Australia, or Europe. So I just think there's lots of people that helped me change my life, and hopefully I changed a bit of their life as well with just doing what we did, and that was race dirt bikes on a weekend. Yeah.
What do you actually miss the most about your racing days, your pro racing days?
I actually miss sleeping in a camper and at a racetrack and it raining. That's the one thing that I really would just love to rewind again and do, because I love sleeping in the rain. It's strange. Some people, I just love I love an iron roof that's got rain hitting on it. And I used to sit there and I used to smile, in the middle of the night and kind of have a little bit of a chuckle to myself, thinking, oh man, this is going to be game on tomorrow when it's, the trip when the sun comes up. And that was one thing I miss. I miss actually just the challenge of hopping out of the camper and it's being up, knee deep in mud and racing in mud. And we grew up here in the mud as well. It rains a lot here in New Zealand. So that's one thing I miss, is sleeping in my camper. That was a cool part of my career. If I could have that again, I'd have it tomorrow.
That's brilliant. Do you have any sort of regrets of any sort of your racing days? Were there any meetings you feel like you should have won or done better at the time? Or is there a certain season that you raced a bike you wish you hadn't, or anything like that?
Yeah, I guess everyone's probably got their negatives, I suppose, with that. There's lots of things. I made the choice in 2000 to go with KTM, take the 4-stroke to America. Turned up there and everyone's on a 252 stroke. I'm on a big 540 KTM 4-stroke that wasn't designed for Supercross, and that's probably one thing that I loved the challenge. It was great, but man, it scared the living out of me. I remember sitting on the one time in my life, I sat on the start line and I said to myself, whatever you do not get the whole shot. This is Anaheim 1 in 2000, and I got out of the gate and I looked across and it was Ricky Carmichael, Joe McGrath, and I thought, oh my God, I cannot go around that first turn first. And it was down to the bike being too big, and as we went through the series, we developed something that was, that got better and better. We put a 470 engine, and so I guess that's one. It was a great positive, but it was also one that I just wished, maybe I had a chance to jump on a 252 stroke and really top 10 definitely would be at the pointy end, but I believe would have been a top 10 competitor that year in Supercross, and then the rest of it, I guess it's just all era things. There's plenty of guns that we had building that, Peter Johansson and myself building that bike up in 99, that we just, wished I had Schwanstead again, because Peter's engine broke in the first, my engine broke in the first moto while leading, and then Peter's engine broke in the second moto while leading. He won the first race and I won the second race. So there's lots of stuff that dream, but it's just racing, and I don't think I ever was disappointed that to a point of going, that's the worst one, and I'd love to have it again. I think it's just how it is. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Can you tell us a funny story from your racing day memories?
Funny story. Funny story. I don't know if it's a funny story, but it's a pretty big part of my life story. So we went to Play-Me-On French Grand Prix 96. We left there after winning the day, extended by points lead from Joel. It was his it wasn't his home track, but it was like his, the track where he was just going to dominate on. And I managed to come away with a Grand Prix win there and pulled a lot of points on him. And then on the way back, we stopped at just over the Belgian border. We stopped at the Pizza Hut, and I was there with Aaron Slight, the road racer, Simon Crafer, who commentates the Motor Grand Prix, and we had three campers there, or three motorhome bikes, truck, and they're big American motorhomes they use in road racing. Someone broke into our truck because you couldn't see the back of it and stole both my Grand Prix bikes.
Oh my God, a joke.
We come out of the restaurant, next minute the back doors of the truck's open and the bikes are gone, fuel's gone. We saw the tire, they hadn't been cleaned because obviously, we just didn't get it done after the race. And then we saw the tire marks in the black tar seal down to this dodgy area of just barren wasteland. And we followed it. We spent the whole night trying to find the bikes, going into these old derelict buildings. And we look back now and go, shit, we probably shouldn't have done that because we didn't know what was going on. But and then that week we used a practice bike from James Marsh and my practice bike and rebuilt them. Had to be in Portugal for the next weekend, and went to Portugal and won that Grand Prix on a practice bike. So which it was all hand built stuff. So we had they don't have a lot of stuff just sitting around on shelves. So let alone be able to drive and build race bikes. So
that's impressive. That was impressive, then.
Yeah. Just I don't know if it's a funny story, but it's definitely a story that's you look back at that and go, all right, that was a pretty serious story, but.
That's crazy. Okay, tell us what you were known for in your style of race and riding. What do you, in 3 words, could you sum up what would describe you the way you raced and rode?
Starts an aggressive first lap, and that was my thing. Was all about starts and just put the hammer down the first 2-3 laps and see what the boys have got. That was my style. And then hang on for dear life to the 40 minute plus 2.
I know, it was so long then as well, wasn't it, back then? These motos, they were hell of a times, right? What do you feel that were your strengths and possible weaknesses you feel you had during your racing days?
My strength was my goals. I set myself goals, and that was my driver. I made sure that every week I had a goal, and that were all all prepared earlier, and I just every weekend. My weaknesses were, I guess, when I was getting beaten, I couldn't fire like I wanted to. So my weakness was when I was getting beaten, I let that consume me a little bit too much, and
Okay.
that was kind of the breaking point of me. That luckily no one figured that one out. So, but yeah, just that was the one for me that I wanted to be there, but when I was going backwards, it just never ended good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. If you could re-race a meeting or a specific race tomorrow in your full prime, where and what would it be and why?
Anaheim won in 2000.
Okay. Why was
on
that?
On the right bike and the right situation to be able
to suit the racing. Yeah.
In that era, just to go there again and go, right, yeah, I was right. I actually was not a bad Supercross racer. I wasn't Jeremy McGrath or Ricky Carmichael, but that's one I'd love to be able to do again in the right circumstances.
Yeah, for sure. She was always good at the gate as well, so I think that would have been a big thing as well.
Yeah,
100%. I think I might know what this answer might be. What do you feel was your best achievement in motocross and why?
The best achievement in motocross, obviously my world championship. That was something that everybody wants or dreams of wanting.
Unbelievable.
But it was pretty cool. But I actually, I like to say that I've got two of them. The second one for me was representing New Zealand at the Motocross of Nations in Fox Hill, and being on the podium for the first time. New Zealand was never on Fox Hill, the muddy Fox Hill race.
Yeah.
We didn't even know we were third until 5 minutes after the race. So
it was crazy.
Man, it was just that was one that for me that was just like, wow, that was cool. To be able to represent your country. You've got two teammates that are you're representing them as well, and to represent New Zealand, and just have that guy in my house. That gold medal sits. The bronze medal sits beside my gold medal from FIM, and two very proud moments in my career.
That's brilliant. I actually was there as well.
Oh yeah,
that's actually my hometown, Fox Hill, where it is.
Wow.
Yeah, they're still using it now.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it's cool.
They're still using it. It's a proper circuit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who were the riders you always used to seem to have run-ins with, and did you not enjoy to race with? What riders and why?
I never really had run-ins with riders. I just, I was pretty staunch. I kind of, I joked with a lot of people. I was a bit of a joker, and I just remember one time at the Lera in Holland in the Grand Prix there, and the talk in the paddock was that, Team Husqvarna and Jackie Martins and that were going to take me out. They were paid to do it. I don't know if it was just a big thing, but so I got a little bit angry during the race because Jackie basically punted me off the track, and only because he was 10 minutes faster in the corner than me. So it was my fault really. But I come back in, and if it wasn't for my mechanic rugby tackling me onto the ground, I probably would have been banned from that race because I was coming in first. But one thing that the energy that you've got in racing, and that was one thing I learned right then. Like, wow, I've never done anything like that in my life, and to be able to have that mental thing that I just want to, throw an arm around somebody is not good.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Yeah, but no, I didn't. I just loved racing with everybody. It was cool. It's such a cool sport. That why do we do it is because we love riding bikes. So. For me, it's just like if someone's better than you and they beat you, it's cool. It's okay to finish last and it's okay to finish first, and maybe a smile on your face after it or before it. That's important.
Yeah, 100%. Right, I've got a couple more left for you. If you could give any advice to any youngster currently racing in youth motocross who wants to go pro, what would the advice be?
Advice would be fun first. Fun is the most important thing in any sport, really, in life. I mean, you've got to have fun. Enjoy what you do, and dream big. Set yourself goals, and they don't have to be the goals of I want to be world champion at 8 years old, but the dream of actually being a world champion at 8 years old is important. Just dreaming and have idols and worship them and just learn from everybody that's around you that's better than you. And if you hang out with winners, you become a winner. If you hang out with a loser, you become a loser sort of attitude. And that's what I always had. Learn from the people that are actually top racers and ask questions. And but at the end of the day, just have fun. That's what life's about, having fun.
Yeah, for sure. What are your social media usernames so people could follow you on various platforms?
Social media, Instagram. So my company is Crown Kiwi Enterprises. So that's on Instagram, and then Shayne King 1996 is my Instagram account. Obviously, it's private, but I don't spend a lot of time on it because I'm usually out busy. No, I enjoy Instagram. It's great to be a way to catch up with people and see what people are doing in life. There's a big push to for these young kids these days to be on every social channel that they can be on, and use it for the right reasons. I reckon Instagram and all the social channels, use it for the right reasons. Use it for inspiration and use it for learning and use it for communication with people. And and life will be good.
Is there any before we go? Is there any shout outs you want to give to anyone, sponsors or anything, or your company?
I guess we're talking about my past. So the people that helped me through those years. From Scott to Wolf Sport to Arai, KTM. KTM has just been a phenomenal company for me. Mr. Pira, who owns KTM, I was his first world champion. If you ever get a chance, listeners, just go to the Motor Hall in Maddinghofen and have a look at the history of KTM, because that's amazing. I was there for the opening. It's just incredible to see what a company. I remember them. What I remember of them, they've still got the old building now, but KTM is it's incredible. I was there with all the the new stuff last year, seen everything, and they've been a big part of my life, an important part of my life. And today, Crown Kiwi is, obviously Crown meaning King and Kiwi meaning New Zealand, is my company. And, we sell, like I said before, some of the fastest brands in the world. Alpine Stars is just, an incredible company. Gabriella, Javier, all the crew at Alpine Stars just give us everything we need to do as a distributor here in New Zealand. Yeah. And I love being a part of that program with them, with helping them develop new products and new designs and new things, and communicating at my level of racing for the consumer today. And then 100%, wow, geez, that brand's just incredible what Mark and Ludo and the crew at 100% have done. And Kropovic is, here again, that exhaust company is amazing, in Slovenia, and I got to see the facility, and what an incredible thing. And then obviously Bell Helmets, the crew at Bell, it's got a lot of history. And the cool thing about what I do now is we've got a lot of history with all the companies we deal with. The history is more than 50 years behind, more than 50 years for all of them. And it's just cool to work with history, and it's cool to work with people that want to make a difference in the industry and come out with amazing products that we can all use today.
That's a cool job, then. Cool job. I really appreciate the time, Shayne.
No worries, man.
It's been an absolute honour for me to speak to you. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, good to link in. And I just actually the other day I found a pile of posters, like just from my racing days. I went back and the other day I was like, oh man, how can I'd love to be able to give people some, I don't know if people still want them, but it'd be cool to be able to, so if there's any listeners that want something, try and figure out the program and send you a pile and you can send them out. But it's kind of
cool,
cool to have some history. I've got the 3 Grand Prix bikes here, the 360 I crossed over the finish line on, my 97 number 1 and my 98, and I've got all my helmets, and I walk into my office every day here at Crown Kiwi, and I get to see my past and I get to see my future as well, which is
at the same time. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Wow, it's been amazing for me. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed your career as well and followed it when I was young, growing up as a schoolboy racer, and I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
So get to meet you and speak to you like this has been amazing for me. So thank you very much.
Oh, awesome, mate. No, same, mate. It's always good to communicate with people and talk about life and past and future. So, no, wish you very well.
Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon then, Shayne.
Okay, cheers, mate. Thanks.
Thanks for your time. Thank you. Thanks, mate. Bye.